Your emotions are sacred and they are the most unfiltered, raw, honest feedback to what you're feeling, what you're currently experiencing. And it is absolutely wrong and harmful to deny them, to deny your true, authentic expression. So I'm speaking to people who have silenced themselves, who have always had to adjust their way of being or expressing themselves, denying their emotions because you grew up in a dynamic or a society that likes to downplay our emotions and bypass them. And eventually, if we keep doing this, eventually that takes a toll on our body. Now, I have no idea where this video is going to go, but I just knew I had to make a video specifically talking about to honor your emotional states. There's absolutely nothing wrong with sadness, anger, frustration, like these lower or dense emotions that we like to label as negative, right? There's nothing wrong with those emotions. They are the quickest feedback to your system, to yourself about, first of all, if your boundaries have been crossed and, what is currently going on in your world. Now, listen, the last couple months for me, I have been doing nothing but honoring my emotions. And it was brutal. And I had to sit with a lot of the uncomfortable emotions so I can finally alchemize them, right? And it was uncomfortable, truly, because I was dealing with the society that we grew up with when they try and put, like certain emotions aren't good for you. You shouldn't feel this way. If you feel this way, you're like a bad person or something like that, right? And that even comes from other people that we're in relation to, right? And they judge our feelings for being bad. There's nothing wrong with your authentic, raw truth expression. It just depends how you deliver that emotion. Now, for example, what I'm speaking to is if you need to cry, cry. Express yourself. If you feel better doing that in, you know, the solitude of your own home or wherever you feel comfortable expressing, do that. Do just that. When it comes to anger, express it as well. But I mean safely, right? I don't mean on another person. I mean like scream into a pillow. It's Anger is just access and active energy that often, yes, signals that your boundaries have been crossed. Get the anger out, scream into a pillow, exercise, run, like get that energy out, right? Absolutely. I don't believe in keeping these emotions bottled in within us because eventually it will have to be expressed. Eventually, that energy has to go somewhere. Now, I actually have a direct experience of this. So, growing up, when I was in high school, I learned to bottle up my emotions. I learned that it wasn't safe to express them, that it was almost like wrong for me to feel anything like lower and dense, right? I didn't learn that these emotions were just me feeling what I'm feeling, and it's absolutely okay to feel what I feel. So I learned to suppress, and I was suppressing for a long period of time. And what eventually ended up happening when I was in high school was my body said, it's enough. It's enough. And I ended up having a stroke. And not that anything bad resulted out of that. Like, I didn't have any complications or anything, but I remember, and I intuitively knew, because my intuition has been very active since I was a child. Most kids, you know, their intuition is on point. Just over time, we learn to dismiss it, not listen to it, and deny it, and then it's hard to hear it, right? And I have been reclaiming that part of me, a lot of parts of me that have been kind of closed down. So again, if you're watching, you probably resonate with this. You've probably been in the same similar position where you've had to bottle things up. You weren't allowed to express your feelings, your emotions. You were made to feel as if this was something wrong. And it's not wrong. It is not wrong. So when I had my stroke, I actually knew intuitively, I knew that was my body's way of telling me, you can't go on with suppressing your emotions. You can't go on. You have to let it go. You have to let that energy go somehow. And since then, I told myself never again. Like, my body does not deserve to be a punching bag of suppressed emotions, right? Because that energy has to go somewhere eventually. And since then, I've been like, okay, I'm going to express, like, I am going to express my emotions. Back then, when I started to, it was very chaotic and I didn't know how to express it in the safest way. I was still learning of like, well, what do I do? No one ever taught me this, which is what's wrong with our societies, especially when I was growing up. We weren't taught what to do with these emotions that come up, right? I've learned very well now. I have my own way of processing and dealing with it and alchemizing it, because you want to alchemize it, right? And alchemizing it is releasing it, is letting it move through you. If I feel like I need to cry, I cry, and I don't tell myself, oh, it's okay, stop no, I'm like, all right, cry, get it out, right? If I feel angry, I do releasing rituals, but if it's very like active in me, I'll scream into a pillow. i'll I'll shake that energy out safely within, my own space. But I've just learned that, like, all these emotions are speaking to something larger at hand, right? Boundary is being crossed, or you're not honoring something inside of you, which could be like a inner child or inner teenager is feeling a type of way, and we need to sit with that part of ourselves and see how we can address it, right? And I can make a different video for these archetypes, especially the inner child and inner teenager, because that is something I discovered within myself. Inner child has been something I have known about for a long time, but inner teenager is something I discovered just recently, and I've learned, like, wait a minute, there's also a teenage aspect to us, and often that's the archetype that gets birthed out of the inner child not getting their needs met, and the inner teenager's rebellious and wants to fight everyone and everything to protect the inner child in a way. But yeah, if you're watching this, just know that your emotions are 1,000% okay to be felt, to be expressed in a safe way, to be alchemized, right? Do not deny them. Do not think that you are wrong or a bad person if you feel these lower or dense emotions. And most importantly, don't buy into the idea that if you feel these lower and dense emotions, that it stops your process of manifestation. It does not. It does not. Yes, if you stay in that emotional state for a prolonged period of time and then you become your own victim of whatever circumstance, but the whole thing, like, emotions are supposed to be like weather, right? They come, they go. Sometimes it's sunny and it's sunny for a few days, which that obviously equates to like happiness, bliss, joy, right? And we can be in that state for a few days, right? But then all of a sudden the storm comes in, right? And there's sometimes the storm is just light rain. Sometimes it's a thunderstorm with lightning. Sometimes it's a hurricane. Sometimes it's a tornado. Like, we don't wrong nature for expressing itself. Why do we do that to ourselves and why do we do that to others? We are nature. We are part of nature. These emotions are just a natural process as well. We don't shame also animals for expressing their truths. Like, if you watch, for example, like, I have two cats. If my one cat crosses the other cat's boundary, she'll hiss at him or vice versa. And do you think they go, "How dare you do that?" No, no. She'll set the boundary, and then the next day they're cuddling and grooming each other. We need to stop belittling ourselves for feeling a type of way, for feeling these emotions that are honestly neutral when you think about it. They're not good or bad. They just are. They just are. And they come and they go. And I don't believe there's a single person on this planet that wants to live in these like lower dense emotions permanently. No. Everybody wants to experience happiness, joy, bliss, ecstasy, love. Every single person. So when you're feeling these lower and dense emotions, it is not because you want to be there. There's something deeper in there. It's not because you want to live in that state. And I get that some people, they do, and that's because that's the identity now they associate themselves with being, for example, depressed or angry or whatever, and then they are this way all the time. That's because they've associated their identity with it, right? But I'm stating, like, obviously don't associate yourself with these emotional labels. Just witness them. Witness them. Let them come. Let them go. Process them. Understand why they're there, why they're coming up, right? And realize that you are worthy no matter what, no matter what you're feeling. And you can absolutely create a beautiful life, even if you're witnessing and allowing your body to process these emotional states. You can absolutely do that. Don't let anybody, you know, all this like spiritual fluff of like, well, if you're not on a high vibe state 24/7, that's it, you're doomed. Good luck. No, no. What's wrong is to deny our emotions, to pretend they don't exist, and to pretend that, like you're happy and blissed out all the time. That's not the case. And this is coming from someone where I have experienced such a high level of love through these past couple of months that I have been really alchemizing my emotions and understanding them, and alchemizing my shadows and my darkness and alchemizing it. I've experienced such a high level of love where I didn't know what to do with it. Like, it was a lot for my system, and I couldn't even believe at that time that I was saying, "Oh my gosh, this is a lot of love." Like, this is too much. I even shocked myself when I said this, because you'd never think that it would be too much to feel of something that's really, really good, right? But I did experience that, and this is something that Dr. Joe even talks about. And when I first experienced that, I'm like, okay, wow. So you can feel so much love where almost like you're like, okay, okay, enough, enough, enough. This is a lot. And it's a very beautiful feeling, but like there's such high levels of it that it's like, whoa. And I don't live in that state 24/7. That's the truth. I don't. Can I access it? Of course. But that kind of level of love, it comes when I least expect it. It really does. But I can tap into it, not to that like very, very high level where I'm like, whoa, this is too much on my body. That usually comes on its own, and I don't have any control over that. It's also like the weather, it just comes and goes. I experience it, I let it go. But I believe the key is that we get to a neutral set point of all these emotional states, and realize that neutrality is a beautiful place to be, right? Because from neutrality, we can easily move to a more blissful, happier state. We can also move into a more sad or depressed state. But it's always coming back to neutrality, because then you can easily shift these states, and just realizing again, there's nothing wrong with your emotions. So whatever you are or whatever you are suppressing, if you're especially suppressing, this is an invitation for you to stop, to start feeling all the things that need to be felt. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be comfy. I know, I've been through this process and it's never easy, but allow whatever is bottled up in you to come out. Start letting it be messy and beautiful at the same time, because it is. And start alchemizing it. And again, if you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream into a pillow. Like, start being okay with what you're feeling, because once you feel everything that needs to be felt, you will come back into neutrality, where it's just going to be peace. It's going to feel so beautiful in this neutral, peaceful state. And from there, you can move into more happier states. Anyway, I hope this helped in some way, shape, or form, but I really felt like I needed to address that your emotions are beautiful, all of them, and they serve a purpose. Just tap into it, and don't be scared of feeling a type of way, because you're not a bad person if you feel those lower and dense emotions. They're needed, they're there, feel them. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end it there. So I hope that helped you in whatever way, shape, or form. I know it's different than the videos that I've been posting, but I just felt called to share this one particular piece about emotions and honoring them. Anyway, sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.